Hi again, everyone. It's Donna coming from Olean, New York in the United States of America. And we are going to share with you our recipe for a smoked potato salad. This is something that you can use as a side dish, or it's hearty enough to eat as a full entree for those of you that enjoy potatoes as a full meal. So today we're going to be taking you back outside to the grill. We're going to be showing you again with our two-zone cooking method using charcoal and wood chips for extra flavor. So get your grilling gear ready, meet me outside, and we'll give you that fabulous recipe for smoked potato salad. Okay, to start our smoked potato salad recipe, we're going to need 4 good-sized potatoes, and you can see I have some russet potatoes that are native here to America, and you're going to want to pick out ones that are pretty similar in size. First step is to gently wash off the potatoes since they are a root vegetable. Now keep in mind, any potato will do for this recipe, so you can pick your favorite, but you'll just always want to make sure that you rinse them off really well. As a root vegetable, they are susceptible to soil contaminations, and you want to make sure that you've rinsed all of that off. Second, remember that potatoes have a lot of moisture in them, and that's a good thing when it comes to grilling, because we want the smoke to be attracted to the potato, and the extra moisture inside them will meet that goal very easily. So keep that in mind, because that will also influence the amount of flavor that you get from your grill cooking. So once we have all of our potatoes washed off, you're going to want to gently pat them dry, just using some paper towels or cloth. And this way you can check them for any extra spots of dirt, soil, bedding that you might have missed. And remember, if there's a little dampness to them, that won't hurt, because that will help to direct all of our smoke vapor. Once they're patted dry, taking tines of a fork or a point of a knife, you just want to make some steam holes into your potato, and that's going to allow them to cook a little more evenly and to ensure that they don't burst on the grill if the fire should get a little bit too hot. It's kind of your foolproof way not to end up with a mess. So I usually make about 2 or 3 piercings, depending on my potato size, on each side of the potato. Once done, we're ready to hit the grill. Okay, we're ready to put our potatoes on the grill, so we're going to start by pouring our chimney starter of hot coals into our grill, which again I have set up as a 2-zone cooking method. So that means I'm only putting heat on one side of the grill. In addition to my hot coals, I'm also going to be adding our wood essence through our natural wood flavored chips. So I'm going to be adding a handful or 2 of sugar maple wood chips and wild cherry. You can just sprinkle them directly onto your hot coals. There's the maple, this is the cherry. I tend to like a little bit more flavor of the cherry, and as you can see, I'm just kind of blending them right together. That will give you instant smoke, and we want to trap that as quickly as we can. So next up, we'll put our grill grate on. And then on goes our potatoes. And again, we're doing a 2-zone cooking method, so that means our potatoes are going to go on the side without any fuel. As soon as they're on, I've set my vent open on the bottom. I have my outtake vent open to about halfway. We'll be looking to these to rise up to about 300 degrees to 350, and we'll let them cook. Okay, so we have now taken our smoked potatoes off of the grill. You can see all 4 of them have been nicely smoked. And you're going to want those to cool down just a little bit before you try to handle them. So in terms of the ingredients for our salad, let's review. We're going to need 4 smoked potatoes. We're going to use yellow mustard, sugar, garlic powder, rice vinegar, paprika, fresh ground black pepper, salt, and I'm using kosher salt, mayonnaise. Then I have 2 ribs of celery that I've already diced up, and I've also kept some celery leaves, which I will talk about, and I've diced them coarsely. Then I've diced a onion, and again, you're going to have to use your judgment on how much onion you prefer. In America, we like onions, so we tend to use a large onion, but you may prefer to go with just a medium size. And then I have 5 hard-boiled eggs that I have coarsely chopped. Now, just a note on the hard-boiled eggs, they are called hard-boiled, but I do not boil my hard-boiled eggs, I steam them. So if you'd like to hear more about that, you can leave a comment back to Clinton and his team, and I'd be happy to explain my process. So because we are going to be making the dressing first, there are some items we will not need right away, and that's going to be the onion, the eggs, the celery. So we're going to move those aside, and we're going to also move our potatoes right now aside because the dressing is going to be key to start getting our flavors married. So I'm going to move in my large bowl. I just like to use a larger mixing bowl to give myself plenty of space when I'm making a side dish. And we're going to go ahead and add in all of these ingredients that I have not moved aside. So our mayonnaise. And remember to keep your ingredients, at ideal temperature because mayonnaise, onion, all of those are items that don't like to be out of the refrigerator too long. Our yellow mustard goes in. Sugar. Garlic powder. Salt. Rice vinegar, and that's a rice vinegar that's more in the Asian market. And then paprika we're going to be using at the end of our salad, so we're going to move that aside. And I, again, like a bit more black pepper, so I'm going to grind in a good teaspoon or 2 of that. And then we want to just gradually start to mix our ingredients. And I like to kind of do a little bit of a folding technique to this because we're dealing with liquid as well as some solid material. You want to make sure everything gets blended really well. And then in particular the vinegar. Now there's 2 ingredients in our dressing, and that is the mustard and the vinegar that you will need to balance. So oftentimes what I'll do is I will mix it up and then do a sampling and make a decision on whether I have the flavors balanced enough. And those are going to be the 2 ingredients you're going to want to work with the most. You should not need to sweeten this anymore. Remember, potatoes are a starchier item, and so they also introduce some sugar as well. So that is not going to be what you're going to want to add. But mustard and vinegar, and I can smell the vinegar. So I really feel that my vinegar level is probably at a good amount of level here. And you just want to see this be kind of creamy. It's not going to be runny. It's going to be thick. And just make sure everything is mixed really well because we're going to be adding our potatoes to that. Okay, so that looks pretty good to me. I'm going to move that aside and move up our bowl for our potatoes next. We'll bring back into play our smoked potatoes. And so the easiest way to manage the potatoes is to do them like you've just done a baking potato. So you're going to just want to cut down the middle. And because we smoked these, the skin will come off pretty easily. And you can make a decision if you would like to keep some of those little bits on. Some people like a little bit more smoked flavor, and if you do, then keep those bits on. If not, you can go ahead and just peel that outer skin. Remember, smoke vapor being attracted to moisture, it's going to get a pretty good depth of smoke flavor all the way through the potato. I really feel that it's fine to take off most of the skin. And then we just want to do a coarse dicing to the potato. And you can see they're just a perfect consistency for making potato salad. And here in the States, we kind of like our potato salad to be on a chunkier side. So we don't really like to see it get too mashed up. Okay, so I'm going to finish these potatoes and then we're going to come back. We're going to combine our dressing and then be ready to do our finishing ingredients. Okay, so we've diced up or coarsely chopped all of our smoked potatoes. And if you prefer to have a little bit more smoky flavor, you will have left some of the skin on. You'll see on mine, I've left some bits and pieces. The first thing you want to do is pour in all of the potato into our creamy dressing. And then just gently toss the potatoes with the dressing. And this will allow all the flavors to marry. And the idea would be to leave your potatoes sitting in the dressing for, 10-15 minutes. For the purposes of today, we're going to just move forward with it. And you'll see the little bits of the skin, which will add some increased smoky depth to our salad. Okay, once most of it is mixed in and you've let it set to marry the flavors, it's time to add the rest of the ingredients. So to this, I'm going to add our onion. And this is a very important step when you do the onion, is to make sure that you absolutely get it really mixed in well. The last thing you want is to bite into one piece of your potato salad that's just covered in tons of onion. So I usually mix my onion separately before I add the rest of the ingredients. I want to make sure that it gets incorporated really well. And you'll see how the dressing will start to just really cling to everything. Okay, so after that, we're going to add our celery. Now I'm only adding the diced celery at this point. Slight mix, and then in goes our 5 coarsely chopped hard-boiled eggs. And again, just lightly incorporate it. We want to try to leave some decent egg pieces in there. We don't want it to become all mushy. And pretty much use a kind of almost like a folding technique like you would do with a cake batter, just to get everything really incorporated. Okay, so for our final steps, once you've finished all of the ingredients aside from our paprika and our leaves, we're going to transfer this into a serving bowl, and then we're going to finish it off and take our taste test. So we're to the plating stage. I love to pick a beautiful bowl to fill my salad with. So I'm going to just gently transfer from my mixing bowl into my serving. And this will give you an opportunity to kind of make sure that everything did get mixed up well. You can see how quickly the dressing clings to every ingredient, making this our traditional American potato salad. And then to finish it off, I have the privilege of being able to grow my own celery, which just thrills me. And this year has been an exceptionally long growing season of celery. And for that reason, I like to use the majority of my celery plants. So what I'm doing is I'm going to add a little extra celery flavor by sprinkling on just some coarsely chopped celery leaves. And then I enjoy a little bit of paprika. Now, paprika comes in many, many flavors. You can get smoked, you can get Portuguese, Hungarian. I'm just using a standard paprika that we find here in the United States. That's it. A finished smoked potato salad. And of course, it's only fair that the person that does most of the work, which is our photographer, Angela, should get to sample.
That is so good.
And what do you think? Did we balance our dressing?
Perfect.
So our vinegar, our sugar, and our mustard are all well balanced, making this the perfect side to serve, whether you do it with a animal protein or enjoy it on its own as a lunch or light dinner. Thank you so much, and thank you to Clinton and team. Next, we'll be bringing you an episode on our smoked banana bread.